If you had to pick a theme music for your life, what genre would it be? Everybody living in the United States has their own unique taste in music that changes over time. We build communities around music and enjoy introducing our favorite songs to people we like. For some of us, music is what really gets us going through the day. For me, jazz is the kind of music that I listen to when I want to unwind from a long day. I'll even listen to it when I'm studying or doing something that requires me to focus. To show you how far jazz music has come, I'll take you on a ride down memory lane and explain to you its rise in popularity during the Roaring '20s. We will explore the history of its origination, influential figures, and the effect it had on American culture. Now, I should begin by saying that the credit for who created jazz music goes to African Americans. Jazz music originated in New Orleans and was spread all over the nation by those who would be the greatest names in jazz history. In an online article published by UMN, I found out that between 1917 and 1923, racism and violence against the African American community caused these musicians to leave and spread out all over the nation. This would cause the original sound of New Orleans jazz to change depending on where you heard it. By the early 1920s, jazz grew in popularity and would continue to flourish throughout the decade. The growing popularity can be accredited to the talented individuals of the time. Names like Joe Oliver, Louis Armstrong, and Duke Ellington changed the game for musical culture in the 20s. Joe Oliver was the first big name in New Orleans jazz sound. He was even a great mentor figure to Louis Armstrong, who also excelled as a soloist. Louis Armstrong was a great soloist on the cornet. He would he would capture the attention of anyone who heard his music with his unique sound. According to A&E News Network, Armstrong became the first African American to be featured in a major Hollywood movie called Pennies from Heaven. Another great jazz artist of the time was Duke Ellington. He would eventually become one of jazz music's greatest composers. Over time, these men and others changed the culture of music in the US for over a decade. Jazz music in the 20s was adopted by all demographics of people in the United States. People from rich to poor communities were listening to it. Politicians and mobsters found some kind of fanciness in jazz music, so they played it at social gatherings. Jazz could be the soundtrack to a romantic stroll in the park or the soundtrack to a shady club in Chicago. It even fit every scene for the bustling and busy days of everyday life in the 20s. Jazz could be appreciated even in those segregated times. So today I spoke about the rise of jazz music in the 20s. First, we talked about how jazz came up to where it is today and where it was originated. Then we spoke about some of the influential contributors to the genre. Finally, we went over how it affected the culture at the time and how it was liked by all types of people. So, did you ever figure out what genre your theme music would be? I think for me, it would be jazz. It encompasses how change can be fluid even when things are rocky. It even seems like jazz can withstand the changing times.